Gentlemen, this is Manly Chunks of Wisdom, where we bring you some chunks of manly wisdom. Today's wisdom is going to be quotes from Mark Twain, right here on the Manlihood Mancast.
Are you ready to live life to the full? Are you ready to rise up and live a life of honor? Are you ready to boldly step into a life of courage? This is the Manlihood Mancast, and here's your host, Josh Atcher.
Gentlemen, welcome to the Manlihood Mancast. I am so glad that you guys have tuned in. Listen, make sure that you go to manlihood.com/contests and enter the contests that we've got available there. We're going to keep adding things to that, especially as we're coming up this spring, late spring, early summer. We're celebrating 10 years since I registered the domain name for Manlihood, and it's been a pretty exciting time. And so we're going to do lots of giveaways as we're leading up to that. So please make sure you go to manlihood.com/contests. Also, I want to make sure that you guys take full advantage of some of the stuff that we've got. We've got some amazing beard oil. One of our Manlihood listeners is a CBD guy, and he took the time to make this amazing Manlihood Apothecary Dirty Beard Oil. His business is called Hemp Mafia. So he made these for us, and we are selling them. Go to manlihood.com/store. You find some other goodies there as well. Make sure you take advantage of that, guys. I just want to encourage you guys, if you haven't plugged into the Facebook group, that's going to be the Manlihood Man Cave. So go to Facebook, look it up, and we'd love to have you be a part of what's going on there. It's basically men helping other men level up in their lives and encouraging each other and building each other up, because that's what we do. So at Manlihood, we are curating chunks of manly wisdom for you. And if you're like a lot of men, you find yourself short on time and you don't have time to read a lot of books. I think we do need to read books. I think it helps us, but we're going to take and give you the Campbells Soup version. We're going to boil it all down and give you the condensed version so that you can enjoy it and you can appreciate it and you can learn from it quick. And that's why it's called a manly chunk of wisdom. And today we're going to talk about quotes from Mark Twain. His birth name, Samuel Langhorne Clemens. He was an American writer, humorist, entrepreneur, publisher, and lecturer, and a lot of people called him the greatest humorist of the United States. I think if he were alive today, he would dominate Twitter. He might even own Twitter. He was a master troll, and he wrote, yes, some really fun Midwestern-style stories, but he also just had this wit and sarcasm and wisdom at the same time. And so we're going to enjoy some of these quotes that Mark Twain wrote today. If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. And how true is that? If you've ever thought about the times that you've told a lie to try to get by or to try to get out of trouble, you've got to remember which lies you told, because those lies just keep getting bigger and bigger. We talked about that recently on the podcast too. Mark Twain also says, don't go around saying the world owes you a living. The world owes you nothing. It was here first. How many people do that, where you just expect everybody to give, everybody to provide for you, or think that you deserve something? You don't deserve anything unless you've earned it. The world doesn't owe you a living. It was here first. Loyalty to country always. Loyalty to government when it deserves it. I love this line. That libertarian spirit in me gets fired up when I hear things like this. There's so many times that our government has not deserved loyalty, and I think we need to hold it accountable. Wrinkles should merely indicate where the smiles have been. Yeah, I'm starting to get a few of those myself. I don't mind a bit. Mark Twain also says this, when I was a boy of 14, my father was so ignorant. I could hardly stand to have the old man around, but when I got to be 21, I was astonished at how much the old man had learned in 7 years. My dad used to say this all the time. I actually didn't know that it was a Mark Twain quote, but how true is that? We don't think our fathers know a thing, and we think they're fools until we get to be in their shoes, until we get to have kids, and we see, oh, he actually knew what he was talking about. Clothes make the man. Naked people have little or no influence on society. Again, this is a funny chunk, but humorous, isn't it? Makes good sense, and it's also helpful. Everyone is a moon and has a dark side which he never shows to anybody. Good friends, good books, and a sleepy conscience. This is the ideal life. Yeah, I can feel that. Definitely. Knowing that your conscience can sleep at night. Knowing I've got good friends and good books to read. I like that, Mark. Whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it's time to reform or pause and reflect. Yeah, I think there's some truth there too. How many times everybody else is doing it, and that just seems to kind of tell me that if I'm thinking that way, I'm probably thinking the wrong way. Never underestimate the power of stupid people in large groups. I'm not sure who said that, but that sounds like a Twainism. The man who does not read has no advantage over the man who cannot read. Yeah, if you have the ability to read, you should. I have never let my schooling interfere with my education. This I like because your education is not necessarily lined up with an elementary or high school or college. Your education is what you teach and what you learn, what you have taught yourself and what you learn or what other people have taught you. And I think the most valuable education is what you can do just by getting out and doing something and learning it that way. The fear of death follows from the fear of life. A man who lives fully is prepared to die at any time. Yeah, how many times does that fear of death hold us back from stuff? Like, I know as a Christian, a lot of that fear is replaced with hope for me. I know that if I die, I have eternal life. So that influences the way I think and the way I operate. But at the same time, sometimes I do fear what happens to my family if I go. And sometimes that fear can keep me from doing what I need to do or stepping into what I need to step into. I think sometimes if you can really make peace with the life that you've lived and know that if it were all over tomorrow, you've done it right, that is a dangerous man. A lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is putting on its shoes. Now, Mark Twain said that way back over a century ago. And how true is that now? It's even faster. Even faster. Never tell the truth to people who are not worthy of it. That's what Mark Twain says. I think you should always tell the truth, but maybe you don't necessarily waste your words on them. Keep away from people who try to belittle your ambitions. Small people always do that, but the really great make you feel that you too can become great. Yeah, I think that's important, guys. We often latch on to people that like to just poke holes in our dreams. Yeah, you don't need that. Yeah, you need somebody who can help challenge you, who can help tell you, look, man, you can't sing. If you can't sing, you want that. But at the same time, someone who belittles your ambitions and puts it down and doesn't give you a shot, that's what small people do. Sometimes people get jealous of you succeeding. And you don't need to spend time with those people. You need to be around people who are great because they're going to encourage you to be all that you can be. In a good book room, you feel in some mysterious way that you are absorbing the wisdom contained in all the books through your skin without even opening them. I've definitely felt that feeling, although you're going to get more out of it if you actually open it. But there is something when you walk into a library and it's just, you're surrounded by all those thoughts, that wisdom that was poured out onto all those pages all the way around you. And it's definitely a pretty cool feeling. I especially like the smell of a library or old books. I think it's a good smell. Substitute damn every time you're inclined to write very. Your editor will delete it and the writing will be just as it should be. I definitely think that'll help me be a better writer. It's easy to write very a lot. It was a very good thing. And so you might as well just put a bad word in there because that'll force you to get the word very out of your vocabulary. Or just. How many times do we say like just? I was just saying were you just saying? Are you using that to say that you are... What does it mean, actually? That word has no good meaning. It just wastes space, and it doesn't help you communicate. So there are definitely words that we waste breath on, and we try to soften our speech to the place where it means very little, actually. Reader, suppose you were an idiot, and suppose you were a member of Congress. But I repeat myself. Thanks, Mark Twain. Like they said, he was one of the greatest humorists of all time. He wrote with just that cheeky spirit and called people out for what they did that was ridiculous and ignorant. He might not be the best role model of all time, but he definitely had some amazing chunks of wisdom. I encourage you to pick up some Mark Twain and read it today. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening. And if you like these manly chunks of wisdom, you will love the book that we put together for you. You can get it for free at manlihood.com/chunk. Anyway, guys, I love you, and I care about you, and I'll see you next time.
If you want to be a better man, check out our website, manlihood.com, for blogs, videos, and more from our Manlihood team. And you can also join our private Facebook group, Manlihood Man Cave, where you can meet up with a band of brothers who will challenge you and help you on your journey of manhood. This episode's produced by Hatcher Media for manlihood.com. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you're listening to the show. Tune in again for more of the Manlihood Mancast.